Burn your vision board. Tear up that 5-year plan you wrote last New Year's. Throw away the journals where you beg the universe for what you want, because they are not helping you, they are weakening you. They are keeping you psychologically dependent on a future that does not exist and may never arrive. You were taught that success requires a clearly defined goal, a shiny destination glowing on the horizon, something to chase, something to dream about, something to cling to when the present feels unbearable. But stop for a moment and look at your life honestly. Not the fantasy version, not the Instagram highlight reel, but the real thing. Ask yourself with brutal sincerity, has chasing that goal made you powerful, or has it made you anxious? Has it given you control, or has it made you fragile, reactive, emotionally dependent on outcomes you cannot command? Because Niccolò Machiavelli, the most misunderstood strategist in human history, did not live by goals. He did not rely on hope. He did not ask the world for permission. He did not wait for alignment or signs or motivation. He operated with something colder, something sharper, something far more dangerous, a method. And there is a fundamental difference between a goal and a method that most people never grasp. A goal is a wish disguised as a plan. It is a fantasy future used to escape an unbearable present, while a method is a siege, slow, calculated, relentless, indifferent to emotion. Most people live their entire lives in a state of becoming, always waiting for the promotion, the relationship, the money, the body, the lifestyle, telling themselves that life will finally begin when they arrive somewhere else. They live in the not yet, and because they live in the future, they are hollow in the present, fragile, unstable, one unexpected blow from life, one market crash, one betrayal, one illness, one shift of fortune, and they collapse completely because their entire identity was tied to a goal they had not reached yet. Machiavelli understood something that modern self-help refuses to admit. The world is chaos. He called it fortuna, a violent, unpredictable river that does not care about your intentions, your affirmations, or your plans. And if you build your life on the riverbank of goals, you will drown when the flood comes. And the flood always comes. So the solution is not better goals or clearer vision boards. The solution is to stop building on the riverbank entirely and become the river, to replace the fragile concept of goals with the unbreakable concept of positioning. Because when you master positioning, success and failure lose their emotional power over you. They become irrelevant labels. You stop chasing outcomes and you start advancing through terrain. You become inevitable, not because you are lucky, but because you are adaptable. But to do this, you must kill the part of you that loves to dream, the part of you that gets a dopamine hit simply from talking about what you are going to do, the part of you that feels productive just by planning and announcing. You must silence the child inside who wants praise and rewards and wake up the strategist who demands power. You must stop seeing your life as a story with a hero's arc and start seeing it as a battlefield, because on a battlefield you do not hope. You maneuver, you assess terrain, you identify leverage points, you adapt to resistance. Ask yourself deeply why you set goals in the first place, why you write down, "I want to make $1 million," or "I want to be happy," or "I want freedom." It is because you are in pain right now, dissatisfied with your current reality, and instead of confronting it, you escape into a fantasy future. The goal is not a map, it is a painkiller. It numbs you so you do not have to deal with who you are today. Machiavelli despised hope because he understood that relying on time to solve your problems is the mark of a fool. He wrote that men deceive themselves by painting a picture of the world as they wish it to be rather than seeing it as it is. When you fixate on a goal, you develop tunnel vision. You stare so hard at the peak of the mountain that you do not see the cliff in front of your feet. And when you fall, you do not just fail, you shatter. Because you bet your self-worth on an outcome you never controlled, Instead of goals, Machiavelli taught virtù, not virtue in the moral sense, but effectiveness, capability, adaptability, ruthless competence. The goal setter says, I want to be rich, which is passive and weak. The strategist says, I will acquire leverage, master persuasion, understand the flow of capital, and position myself where money is forced to move through me. One is a wish and the other is a structural change to reality. When you delete your goals, you are not giving up. You are getting serious. You stop dreaming and start architecting. You stop looking at the sky and start reinforcing the foundation beneath your feet. Stop asking what you want to achieve and start asking where you need to stand, because success is not a sprint. It is a location. And this is why you must stop announcing your ambitions, because every time you tell people what you are going to do, you leak power. Your brain releases dopamine and rewards you before the work is done, killing your hunger. And you create resistance, doubt, jealousy, silent enemies. Machiavelli warned that a prince should never reveal his true intentions until the knife is already moving. Secrecy is not paranoia, it is energy conservation. Talking consumes power. Execution generates it. Replace goals with secret agendas. Not, I want to get promoted, but I will make myself indispensable, gather leverage, and force the outcome when the timing is right. One pleads and the other plots. When life collapses, and it will, the goal setter breaks and cries that it is unfair. The strategist adapts and sees new terrain. Chaos destroys rigid plans but fuels systems. Wind extinguishes a candle but feeds a fire, so you must rehearse the destruction of your life until it no longer terrifies you, because if losing everything would paralyze you, you are too attached to comfort. Machiavelli himself was exiled, tortured, stripped of power, and humiliated. Yet he did not rot in resentment. He used misery as leverage and wrote The Prince, a book that conquered centuries. So ask yourself what you are doing with your suffering. Are you letting it decay you or sharpen you? Stop being gentle with yourself, because gentleness breeds mediocrity. Impose law on your impulses. Become your own tyrant. Crush the internal rebellion of laziness, distraction, and cheap dopamine. Install discipline, because discipline is the only real freedom. When you can command yourself to do the hard thing and actually do it, you gain a power no goal can give you. And when you stop chasing the future and start controlling the present, something changes in your posture, your eyes, your energy. You no longer look hungry. You no longer look desperate. You start looking inevitable.